ஹலோ எவ்ரிஒன். இன்று நாங்கள் பார்க்க போவது லண்டனில் இருக்கின்ற வெஸ்ட்மினிஸ்டர் என்கின்ற ஊரில் இருந்து கப்பலில் ஏறி நாங்கள் லண்டன் பிரிட்ஜுக்கு போகின்றோம். போகின்ற வழிகளில் பல இடங்களை நீங்கள் பார்க்கலாம். அதுவும் கப்பலில் போகும் பொழுது பார்த்தீர்களானால் அதன் வியூக்களாக இருக்கலாம், அந்த இடங்கள் எவ்வளவு அழகாக இருக்கும் என்பதை நீங்கள் இந்த வீடியோவில் பார்க்கலாம். ஸோ இந்த வீடியோவை தொடர்ந்து பாருங்கள். இப்போது இந்த கப்பலில் போகும் பொழுது கப்பலை ஓட்டும் நபர்கள் போகின்ற ஒவ்வொரு இடங்களை பற்றியும் அவர்கள் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுவார்கள். பாருங்கள், இந்த மேப்பில் பல இடங்கள் இருக்கின்றன. இந்த அனைத்து இடங்களையும் தாண்டித்தான் போகின்ற ஒவ்வொரு இடங்களை பற்றியும் அவர்கள் அதுக்கான ஹிஸ்ட்ரிகளை ஆங்கிலத்தில் அவர்கள் உங்களுக்கு சொல்லுவார்கள். ஒருவேளை அது உங்களுக்கு புரியவில்லை என்றால் கமெண்ட் செக்ஷனில் அதற்கான ஆன்சரை கேளுங்கள், அதை நான் சொல்லுகின்றேன். மற்றும்படி இந்த ஒவ்வொரு இடங்களை பற்றி அவர்கள் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுவார்கள். நீங்கள் கூட லண்டனுக்கு வந்தால் இந்த இடங்களுக்கு நீங்கள் ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்காக போகலாம். இல்லைன்னு சொன்னால் இப்படிப்பட்ட கப்பலில் போகும் பொழுது ஒரே நாளில் பல இடங்களை நீங்கள் பார்க்கலாம். அதுக்கான பல விஷயங்களை நீங்கள் லேர்ன் பண்ணிக்கொள்ளலாம். அது மட்டுமில்லை, மெயினாக இந்த வியூ தான். இந்த வியூக்களை பார்த்தீங்கன்னு சொன்னால் அப்படி அழகாக இருக்கும். பல மெயினாக லண்டனில் இருக்கின்ற இடங்களுக்கு அவர்கள் கூட்டிக் கொண்டு செல்வார்கள். அது மட்டுமில்லை, இந்த கப்பல் மட்டுமில்லை, பல கப்பல்களில் போகின்றன. சின்ன போட்டுகள் கூட நீங்கள் ஹயர் பண்ணலாம். இது ஒரு பெரிய கப்பல் என்பதனால் பல பேர்கள் உங்களிடமும் வருவார்கள். ஆனால் அவ்வளவு அழகாக இருக்கும். பல விஷயங்களை நீங்கள் லேர்ன் பண்ணிக்கொள்ளலாம். எனிவே, ஏதாவது கொஷன் இருந்தால் கமெண்டில் போட்டு விடுங்கள். நான் ஒன்றும் சொல்லவில்லை, அவர்கள் சொல்லுகின்ற விஷயத்தை நீங்கள் கேளுங்கள். எங்கே வந்து நிற்கிறேன்? அதுக்கு ஏன் கப்பலில் போனீங்க? ட்ரெயினில் போகலாம். கப்பலில் சரி, நாங்கள் லண்டன் போய்
someone came up with a clever idea of cleaning it. So the cleaning took 4 years and £80 million. It's the most expensive clock in the world. Now if you look at the clock faces, you'll see royal blue and gold up there now. That was always painted black because of the pollution in London. But now we've got a mayor who said there's no pollution, it's all lovely and clean. If you look at the clock tower, now what they did with it, they scrubbed it, repaired it, and now it's been injected with silicone, so hopefully it won't get dirty so quick. But compare the clock tower with the rest of Parliament, which is all dirty and grubby. And we're talking about the building, of course. At the far end up there we fly our Union flag, which tells us our government are hard at work. Well, the bars are open and it's only £2 a pint in Parliament. So on our right then, as we turn, we have Westminster Bridge, which is the only bridge on this river that has 7 navigable arches. But look at that tide racing through there now. It destroyed the original wooden bridge. This one on the right opened in 1864. So to our right, this lovely old building, the County Hall. We used to run Greater London from here, but now it's hotels, apartments, and the walkway where you see the people, these are all the children's attractions. The London Dungeon, the aquarium, and the new home of Boris Johnson, Shrek's Adventureland. Well, he doesn't live in the real world. Now the London Eye, well, if you was here in 2000, you had the best deal. You paid £7.50 to go around. The only thing was, once they had your money, you had to queue up for 3 hours waiting to get on. Well, today there are no queues because it's now £30 each. So look in the pods, you can see there are lots of empty spaces. Over here on your left, the stone column has the gold eagle on top. That's the Air Force Memorial. The eagle looking to the coast where the men gave their lives. For some reason, we point the bum of the eagle towards the Ministry of Defence. The grey ship on your left, that's London's busiest pub. The Tattersall takes more money on a sunny day than most pubs in London now take in a week. But the last last building on the left with the black spires, that's Whitehall Court. Now in there are luxury apartments, a hotel and exclusive gentlemen's clubs. It's where you find us gentlemen on a Thursday night. Thursday is now the new Friday. So have a look on the right there, we got the South Bank. Ideal for your children during the day, but overnight when they open up the bars is ideal for adults. Now this next weekend they'll start building all the Christmas villages along the riverbank. We only had 6 of them last year. Took you ages to get from one to the other. Now in front of you, Charing Cross Railway Bridge, and where you see the people, the Golden Jubilee walkways, a nice little shortcut from north to south. Now we have a little custom on the river, folks. If you see someone above you on a bridge, give them a little wave. It's not to be nice, you just want to see what they got to throw at you when we're going underneath. Now please don't worry if they don't wave back, that means they come from London. Now we may have to make a stop on the left here, we're not sure yet. But if you look along the embankment on your left there, look along the wall, there is a stone column. It's called the Cleopatra's Needle, given to us when Nelson defeated Napoleon at the Battle of the Nile. The building behind it, with the largest clock face in London, that is now the headquarters of Shell. But next to Shell with the green roof, the famous Savoy Hotel. If you want to stay at the Savoy tonight, it's only £500 a room. If you go in the American bar, a gin and tonic is £27. You get it in a lovely crystal glass, which you can take home with you. When you're leaving, put it in your wife's handbag and don't look back. So in front of us, the South Bank of London, the first building, the Royal Festival Hall, now the only remaining building from our festival for Great Britain. All the other buildings, they were built in the 70s, what we used to call the ugly concrete era, and you can see why. Now when we say to people, have a little walk along South Bank, the reason being, it's not just a riverside walk, it's all these buildings. Over here, you'll find over 20 restaurants and bars, and as you walk down the river, you'll find lots more opening up. Especially once the old Christmas village is open, you'll be able to drink from one end of the river to the other. It's the only reason we're here. So we just got to pick this little group up, folks. When we leave here, we are going to the Tower. Now folks, when we get to Tower, that is for any passenger to leave us who's got a Tower ticket. When we leave Tower Bridge, that is only for Greenwich passengers. So if you've got the Greenwich return, the 2-hour trip, or the River Pass, you stay with us. If you have any other kind of ticket, you change at the Tower. So just give us a minute and we'll be back to you. So the problem we had, most of our men were still overseas in the forces. So the bridge was built by what we call the Land Army. Now the Land Army were basically the women of this country. As the men were overseas in the war, the ladies took over doing all their jobs. So this is the only bridge on our river that was built by women. And it's the only bridge in London that's ever opened on time and on budget. So the girls done a good job. Thankfully, there was a man in charge. Now, as we go under the bridge, see how lovely and clean it is on the outside? That is a self-cleaning Portland stone. It's never been cleaned since it was built. The rain gives it a wash, the sun bleaches it white. But look above your heads, because that's the colour London would be without a little drop of rain. So when we go through the bridge on your left, the very elegant building, this was built as the Palace of Somerset. And when it was built in the 19th century, that was the largest building in England. You see how long it is? That's how far inland it goes as well. Up till 1976, this is where we kept records of births, marriages and deaths, and now it's called King's College, part of London University. Back here on your right, the first building got the large sign flashing away. This is our National Theatre. This was founded by the late Lord Olivier. But next door, where you see those yellow cranes, they're just altering a building that's about 20 years old. But they've also bought the land next door. See the White Tower? It was under renovation. It was the headquarters of ITV. But they've sold out and they've moved to West London. So this has all been bought by a Chinese property developer. And he's turning it in. You can see why. Look up on the top. The oldest advert in London. Been up there since 1932. The top floor is a restaurant. The middle is apartments and some very nice shops at the bottom. The building belongs to the Prince of Wales. Next door, headquarters of Sea Containers. Top half of the building is now a hotel. And the last building there, the pregnant lady, well, that's Blackfriars Tower. Now, if you'd like an apartment in there, they start at £800,000. You could have bought the penthouse for 32 million, but they sold it to a very nice Russian gentleman who can't live here at the moment. Over here on the left, behind the building site, the white building with the green roof is the old City of London School, now the headquarters of JP Morgan. And the last building, the curved one, headquarters of the multinational company Unilever. So we've got three bridges now. Blackfriars Road Bridge is the first one. Look to our right, that's how it's going to look when they finish the renovation in 2 years' time. But look on the front of the bridge, you see the marble columns. And if you look at the one that's on our left here, look at the top of the column, you'll see carvings of swans. Now look on all the other pedestals, these are all the birds we have along the banks of this famous old river. Now the second bridge, the red columns either side, this is the remains of the first railway bridge, designed by Isambard Kingdom Brunel, carried the first steam train out of London down to Dover. But the last bridge, Blackfriars Rail, this was rebuilt 10 years ago. This is the only railway station in the country that can be run on solar power. There are 1,200 solar units up there. They should be working quite well because they've had a nice free wash this morning. Now look on the right here, this is still the South Bank. The building with a tall chimney, it was a power station. It is now called Tate Modern. And if you understand modern art, it's a wonderful place to go. If you don't understand modern art, I can recommend the pub on the right. It's just a different kind of artist. So look along the skyline on the left. Look at all these little churches. Christopher Wren designed 52 churches while they were building St Paul's. That took 35 years. Look on top of the dome up there today, you'll see the people in the gallery. They've just climbed 520 steps for the best view round the old city. So this is the newest bridge on the river. When it opened in the morning, it was called Millennium Footbridge. And 3 hours later, it was closed and had a new name, the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. So many people walked across, it swayed so violently, it was closed, like it is at the moment. You'll see the orange and the yellow men up there. They're doing a week's maintenance. Look at these big nets underneath. You can see what's been falling off this brand new bridge. So when we go through here on your right, look behind the trees, there's William Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, the only timber frame thatch roof building in London since the Great Fire. Look at the top of the stairway on the right. Behind the top step is a set of black iron gates. Each lump of metal on the gate is a character from a Shakespearean play. Shakespeare put on 17 first nights in the playhouse. Now this area on the right bank side, this became the entertainment centre of London. We had bear baiting, cockfighting, circuses, taverns and houses of horizontal pleasure. Well, in front of us, Southwark Bridge. Normally the least used bridge in London, so those people you see, they're probably lost. Now look to the right of the bridge up on the skyline, look at the Shard, look up the top right hand side, that's the viewing gallery, and look how empty it is today. The reason it's not busy is because they charge too much. Now when we go through Southwark, over on the left you'll see a barge moored up, and this is how we take away our rubbish. Now there's big arguments in London about pollution and congestion. So if you look at that barge, count the containers on the top, there's another stack underneath. Now one tug with a single engine, he can tow 6 of those barges, so that's one diesel engine on the Thames, or 120 lorries going nowhere on the road. Now over here on the right, you can tell the sun's come out. Look how busy that little pub is. The Old Anchor Tavern opened in 1580. This is where Samuel Pepys, the London diarist, lived when he described the Great Fire of London. So now we're going under Cannon Street Railway Bridge. As we do, look ahead of us on the right, where you see the people standing. Just behind them, we have a replica ship. Now the ship has been in the dry dock there now for just over 50 years. It's called the Golden Hind. Now that little vessel has been sailed around the world twice. After COVID, they decided to renovate the ship because they're getting her ready for her third and final voyage. So take your children on there, they'll learn the history of Sir Francis Drake. And just behind that ship, that's where you find the Borough Market. Now look above us on the left, there we have the Monuments to Money. The building with the curved top, the walkie-talkie. Behind it is the scalpel, the gherkin, the cheese grater and the salt and pepper pots. They've just opened a viewing gallery at the top of the salt and pepper pots, but you'll have to wait till near enough the end of November to get a ticket. Called Horizon 22. So this is London Bridge. Now we've had 4 bridges here. First one fell down. Second one was burnt down. The last one, we sold it as a jigsaw puzzle. Most of it ended up in Lake Havasu City in Arizona. This little bridge opened 1973. So as we go under, look up on the right at the old Shard. It has the most expensive viewing gallery in the world at the top. Prices there start at £30 each. Now look up on the left, look at the walkie-talkie tower. Look how busy they are up there. And the reason they're busy is because it's free. So you have to book it in advance, but if you want to cheat, go to one of the restaurants on the top floor instead. The Blue Glass Monster on our left, this is one of the many private banks in London where people think they can hide their money. Next door, where they're having a party, well, that was the old Billingsgate Fish Market. It's now hired out to companies in the city who've got something to celebrate. So probably they've had a good year ripping us off. Behind the trees on your left is the Custom House. That is the main customs office of this country. But if you look on the right here, every building you can see between the two bridges, this area is now renamed London Bridge City. It all belongs to the Qatari royal family. They're the ones who don't want Man United. Don't blame them. Now also on the right we got the cruiser HMS Belfast. It's been in our river now for just over 50 years as a museum. She has 9 decks to explore, from the engine room to the radar scanner on top. She was one of the first ships to be equipped with radar, helping her to sight and sink the battleship, the Scharnhorst. She's got 9 decks open. She was on the convoys to Russia, the Normandy landings, and in the Korean War. You can take your children on there during the break and lose them for a couple of hours. We all need a break. Now, if you look along the right there, folks, you will also see a building that we call the Power Rangers crash helmet. Now, this big glass bubble on your right, this was the headquarters for the Mayor of London. He moved out last year. He said we couldn't afford the rent. Well, we can't really afford him, but he's still here. But if you have a look along there, you can see where he's going to have a ceremony at the end of the month. Can you see the big crown along there? Well, they reckon it's big enough to fit his head, but we're not sure. That's all to do with the theatre. Now, on our left, we have the tower. You're looking over 1,000 years of English history. Some of it, unfortunately, not very nice. But look over there on the wall. You have entry to the Traitor's Gate. Now, we used to call that the first one-way street in London, because when you went in, you never ever came out. The ones who did come out, they come out in 4 separate pieces. The good old days. So here we are, the last bridge of London. The Tower Bridge opened 1894. The lower sections they raised to let the ships come in. Years ago, when the river was busy, they lifted so often we had to walk over the top. Now they glassed in the top to stop people stepping off into the next world. But look up there now, you see the city badge. So that means you've just broken a record of your own this afternoon. You have passed through the City of London faster than anyone in a car, a bus or a taxi. Look up there today, look at the glass pavements, give them a wave and a smile, make out you're enjoying yourselves, because there's someone up there taking your picture. Now if you look down the river in front of you folks, this was the docks. Now there are no docks in London anymore. We much prefer to have overpriced apartments that no one can afford. Unless you work for the government, of course. So we're going to make a little stop on our left. As I said earlier folks, if you have a ticket to the tower, if it is single, return or a round trip, you must change boats at this pier. There are boats leaving here throughout the day up till 5:30 this afternoon, taking you back to Westminster. So if you've got a ticket that takes you down to Greenwich, the 2-hour cruise, stay with us. We're only going to be on the pier for a short time. Now for those who are leaving us, before you jump out your seats, have a good look around you. Make sure you've got all your belongings, especially your children and your mobile phones. Please don't leave behind any one of them. Now for those who are leaving us here folks, we have done a little guide coming downstream to try and make your trip on the river a little more enjoyable. We don't see the point of you travelling down the Thames if you don't know what you're looking at. So what we do here folks, as you're leaving our boat, if you would like to show appreciation for our few words,
I hope
you can do so. I'll be standing there with the old top hat.
இந்த வீடியோவில்
You want to put
பார்த்த
something in,
எந்த இடம்
we'll leave that in.
என்பதை கமெண்ட் செக்ஷனில் போட்டு விடுங்கள். அது மட்டுமில்லை, இந்த வீடியோ பிடித்திருந்தால் இந்த வீடியோக்கு ஒரு லைக்கை போடுங்கள், இந்த சேனலை சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணிவிடுங்கள், அந்த பெல் நோட்டிஃபிகேஷனை ஆன் பண்ணிவிடுங்கள், மற்றவர்களுடனும் இந்த வீடியோவை ஷேர் பண்ணிவிடுங்கள். நாங்கள் இதே மாதிரி பல அதர் வீடியோக்களுடன் வருகின்றோம். அதே சமயம் இந்த வீடியோவில் ஏதாவது உங்களுக்கு புரியவில்லை என்றால் அதையும் கமெண்டில் போடுங்கள், அதற்கான ஆன்சர்களை நாங்கள் தருகின்றோம். Anyway, thank you for watching. We will see you in another video. Until then, you guys take care.